Our regularly scheduled programming will not be seen tonight, so that we may bring you the Division Series on Fox.
Tonight, under the San Francisco light, the New York Mets face a daunting and giant challenge. Desperate to return to Gotham with the slate even. One day ago, Met lefty Mike Hampton faced one of the greatest players in the game today. And for Barry Bonds, what's past is past. He plans to make the future last. And then soon after...
Burke hits one high! He hits it deep down the line! Out of here!
The Mets were left reeling in this seaside scuffle. Now, tonight, in the city by the bay, can King of Swing Mike Piazza find his power within? Or will Giant Might again make this city burn bright? The Mets and the Giants are set for Game 2. But the question remains, are you? Next, it's the power of postseason baseball on the one and only Fox Sports. The AutoTrader.com pregame show is brought to you by AutoTrader.com, the biggest, best used car site on the planet.
Twice San Francisco has hosted a World Series. The first coincided with the Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962, the second with the Loma Prieta earthquake of 1989. If a third occurs, it will coincide with the first series appearance of 14-year Major League veteran Ellis Burks. From the home of the next 7 World Series, welcome to the vice presidential debate. No, it's Game 2 of the National League Division Series in the AutoTrader.com pregame show with Tom Brenneman and Bob Brenly standing by in San Francisco and alongside Steve Lyons. I'm Keith Olbermann. And nothing gets the monkey off the back of a seemingly jinxed superstar faster than a lucky break, as Barry Bonds or Steve Lyons could tell you.
And of course, you're referring to that 2-strike pitch to Bonds before he got the triple. But I got to tell you, to everybody out there, including you, Keith,
yes,
for getting on Bonds about his post.
Did the Indians last year come back from 0-2?
It's going to be very difficult. But if you remember, in 1996, these same two teams, the Braves were down to the Cardinals 3-1 in the NLCS. They did come back, but of course, they had Maddox, Glavine, and Smoltz. It's a little bit different team. This is the most balanced team, the Braves, in this playoffs, with fielding, speed, pitching, and a strong lineup, but they got a tough thing going for them right now. I think Maddox, after only throwing 66 pitches in Game 1, will come back and throw Game 3.
Why not? The striking statistic coming out of this game is that the likely Hall of Famer Glavine is now an 11-11 pitcher in the postseason, just as the Cardinals made Maddox an 11-11 pitcher in the postseason on Tuesday. Weird stats abound when it comes to the game's greats and the playoffs and the World Series. The RBI machine, Frank Thomas, 0 for 7 this year for the White Sox. He's left 9 men on base. And now Luis Sojo has more career postseason RBI than Andres Galarraga. But no title time performer has done less with more than Barry Bonds. As at this moment, the O in his name stands for O for October.
That team has big marbles. That's what they have, big marbles.
Marbles. And the other sense of that word, of course, is losing it, which might be losing your marbles if you have won the first game against a left-hander and then change your lineup for the second game and have a completely different lineup against the left-handed pitcher. Dusty Baker is seeing this one almost as a must-win, which is also fascinating because at home they're almost unbeatable. He said going into this new ballpark, it was kind of like moving into a new house. They found all the light switches. They led the majors in home victories, 56-26.
Yeah, and 56-20 after they lost their first 6 home games. This team is unbelievable at home. Name me a worse home ballpark crowd than they were at the Stick when they had to cheer for those Giants then. And then I'll tell you what, name me a better one now, maybe only in St. Louis, than what you have at Pac Bell Park right now.
Yeah, but we missed the crab. The ceremonial crab.
And they have Rusty running around the outfield.
All right, that's it from here. We'll be back afterwards or enduring if developments warrant. Battle of local lefties. Metropolitan New Yorker Al Leiter versus native San Franciscan Sean Estes. Tom Brenneman, Bob Brenly, Josh Lewin standing by for Game 2 of the NL Division Series. After this break, please let us take you out to the ballgame.
Beautiful late afternoon, early evening in downtown San Francisco, and 41,000 plus jam-packed into Pac Bell Park for Game 2 of this National League Division Series as the Giants try to take a 2-0 lead over the New York Mets. And a pleasant good evening to you. Alongside Bob Brenly, I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome, as always, to playoff baseball here on Fox. Clearly, Bobby, it goes without saying, this is a game the Mets have to win. So what do they have to do to accomplish just that?
Well, they need a big game out of Outlighter, who, make no mistake about it, is their best big game pitcher. His postseason numbers may not indicate that, but just think back to last year, the one-game playoff in hostile Cincinnati when the Mets had to win to advance to the postseason. Outlighter was the guy that went out to a complete game shutout. Offensively, the Mets' middle of the lineup has to show a little more patience against Sean Estes. This is a guy that will pitch himself into trouble if you allow him to.
As far as the Giants are concerned, Dusty Baker has made a number of changes to his lineup from Game 1. Jeff Kent plays at first base. Ramon Martinez takes over for Kent at second base, and Calvin Murray, the rookie, spells Marvin Bernard in center. We asked Dusty Baker why the changes.
Because, you know, Leiter is extremely tough on left-handers, and I think left-handers only have like 14 hits off them the whole year, hitting a combined 118 off them on the league, and just try to give ourselves the best chance, and also at the same time I want to do what I've been doing all year.
Well, they've been doing it all year, and this lineup gives Dusty a little more flexibility to play hit and run. Of course, you need to get runners on base against Outlighter to make that happen.
Well, Barry Bonds and the Giants got untracked in Game 1. Bonds with a couple of huge hits. Can Mike Piazza and the Mets answer in Game 2?
You're watching Fox Sports. The Division Series on Fox is brought to you by IBM, taking e-business and your business to the next level. By MasterCard. MasterCard, proud sponsor of Major League Baseball and fan of the great American pastime. By America's Air Force, no one comes close. And by Bristol-Myers Squibb, makers of Propofol.
Barry Bonds and the Giants, winners of the National League's Western Division, take the field, leading this series 1-0. Getting a terrific effort from Livan Hernandez on the mound and timely hitting, especially from their right fielder, Ellis Burks. Let's take a look at the Autotrader.com starting lineup for Bobby Valentine's New York Mets. Timoniel Perez gets a start. He leads off in right field. Edgardo Alfonso is at second base, and Mike Piazza, a terrific regular season against Giants pitching behind the plate. Todd Zeile at first, Robin Ventura at third. Benny Agbayani moved from leadoff into left. Jay Payton in center, Mike Bordick the shortstop, and Al Leiter on the mound. Starting it for the Giants, a 15-game winner, left-hander Sean Estes.
You see the numbers in 30 starts during the regular season for Sean Estes. A high walk total, 108 walks in 190 and a third innings pitched. Features a fastball, a big overhand curve, and a straight changeup. You see the opponent's batting average. He has really stifled the left-handers this year. His second career postseason start. Very much a ground ball pitcher, averaging over 2 ground balls for every fly ball, and the team has scored a lot of runs when Sean Estes has been on the mound this year.
In fact, more than any other starting pitcher in the major leagues this season at 6 runs per game. Let's meet the Giants defensively, the best defensive team this season in the National League. Barry Bonds in left, Calvin Murray in center, Ellis Burks in right. Miller, Aurelia, Ramon Martinez at second. Kent makes his 11th start at first. And a battery of Sean Estes and Bobby Estolea.
In those 11 starts with Jeff Kent at first base, the Giants have gone 7-4. Dusty Baker told us before the ball game, Jeff Kent obviously has very good hands, and he's made that adjustment over to first base seamlessly. How many other teams in baseball do you see where your number 4 hitter, MVP candidate, changes position in the second game of a postseason? But that's exactly what the Giants are doing with Jeff Kent tonight.
We remind you, as always, this broadcast is also available in Spanish by utilizing the SAP button on your television. So we're set to go. Timoniel Perez leads off, and the youngster takes a strike, and we are underway. Perez spent 5 years playing in Japan, both in their minor leagues and the major leagues. Found out that he was heading back to the minors, asked for his release, and the Mets signed him on the 15th of March, and he has had a phenomenal climb through their system.
Tries a little bit of a running slug bunt right there, kind of stepped up into the batter's box, tried to slap that ball by the charging Bill Miller at third base, but fouled it harmlessly off to the left side.
Perez appeared in 20 strikes out Perez to begin the game. If Estes has that pitch early on, it could be a long night for New York.
Well, it's such a big breaking ball that many times it's hard to keep it in the strike zone. I mean, very rarely will you see a major league hitter knee buckle the way Perez just did. But that is how good the curveball from Sean Estes can be when he's throwing it for strikes. That's embarrassing.
Edgardo Alfonso. First pitch swinging, a high hopper down to Miller at third. They believe he's a Gold Glove winner there in the National League this season, and he throws out Alfonso quickly 2 away. And very little patience there by Alfonso, something you talked about from the outset.
Well, it's a very fine-edged sword. You don't want to take away a hitter's natural aggressiveness. And if the ball's around the strike zone, I'm sure Bobby Valentine wants his hitters to go up to the plate and be aggressive. But as we mentioned, Estes is a guy that if you allow him to throw a lot of pitches, will many times pitch himself into trouble.
Now Mike Piazza trying to get the same stroke he has during the regular season and bringing it into the postseason. He was hitless in the first game yesterday, and he looks at ball 1 low and away. Piazza during the regular season, a .324 hitter, 38 home runs, 113 knocked in. And again, Estes misses low and outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Good patience here by the Mets slugger.
Yeah, it looked like Piazza made up his mind he was going to go to the plate this at bat and not even think about swinging unless Sean Estes threw him a strike, and so far Estes has yet to do that.
And he walks on 4 straight. So the first base runner of the afternoon is Mike Piazza, and the inning continues for first baseman Todd Zeile.
First baseman number 9, Todd Zeile.
Zeile at .268 his first season in New York, 22 home runs, 79 runs batted in. Zeile, a 35-year-old veteran from Van Nuys, California, playing for his 8th different team over the last 6 years. Originally came up with the Cardinals, has played for the Cubs, Philadelphia, Baltimore, the Dodgers, Florida, Texas, and the Mets. And there's ball 1. Six straight pitches out of the strike zone, and now Bobby Estalella will come visit Estes in front of the mound.
Now this is absolutely necessary at this point. Estes is not missing by a lot, and for the most part he's been missing down low, which is much more preferable than mid up high for Dave Righetti, the pitching coach of the Giants. But Bobby Estalella just wanted to change the rhythm here. Back off the rubber, take a deep breath, let's start over again.
Drew a 2-out walk, 2-0 to Zeile. And a fastball strike paints the outside corner, 2-1.
And for the fans who have never seen the Giants' new home here on the Bay, it should be pointed out, very much a pitcher's ballpark if you can get the hitters to hit the ball from gap to gap, from right center to left center. Very little carry out there.
2-2.
Something this Giants staff has done so successfully over the course of this season. Hitting the ball from gap to gap. That ball just gets out there, gets up in the winds, and seems to die in the gloves of the Giants outfielders.
Estes okays a sign. Now to 2-2 to Zeile. And a little roller off the end of the bat to the right side. Martinez speeds. Estes covering the bat. And that'll end the inning. 1 man left. Bonds and the Giants back when we return. Here's the Autotrader.com starting lineup for Dusty Baker's Giants. Calvin Murray leads off in center field. Bill Miller at third base. Barry Bonds in left. The former Met Jeff Kent at first base. Ellis Burks. A big 3-run home run leading the Giants to victory in Game 1. Ramon Martinez at second base. The latter third of Rich Aureli, the shortstop. Bobby Estalella behind the plate. Sean Estes on the mound facing the 34-year-old left-hander from Bayville, New Jersey, Al Leiter.
Leiter with 31 starts during the regular season, 16 victories against 8 defeats. You see the fine 3.20 earned run average, recording 200 strikeouts on the season. Best pitch by far is his cut fastball. When you talk to opposing hitters, they will rave about that pitch. He's gone 5 innings or more in 30 of his 31 starts this season.
Calvin Murray did not play yesterday. He gets a start here tonight. Shows bunt, and it's a strike from Leiter on the inside corner.
Calvin Murray in limited playing time this year with the Giants very rarely tries to bunt for a base hit, but without Leiter on the mound, who's not considered to be a very good fielder and occasionally will get himself out of position on the mound, look for Murray to look for the bunt.
Broken bat pop-up. Left side of the infield. Robin Ventura is there, 1 away. And now Leiter will do plenty of that tonight. The defense behind him. Out by Yanni, Payton, and Perez in the outfield. Robin Ventura has struggled with the glove at third base. Bordick came over from Baltimore at the trade deadline. Alfonso and Zeal on the right side. Leiter and Piazza the battery.
Tom, I'm a little disappointed in that animation we show before our defense every day. That hitter consistently swings at the first pitch and grounds to short every time.
Every single time, and the pitcher always throws a pitch high and away.
You would think that eventually they would bring in a left-handed pitch hitter, try to shake things up a little bit. 18 weeks in a row we've seen that guy ground out to start the game.
Bill Miller, the Giant third baseman, looks at a strike. 268 hitter. Career high 10 home runs, career high 55 runs batted in. Miller 2 hits and 5 at bats, a double scored twice in game 1. Miller shows bunt, it's 0-2. The Mets this season only allowed 73 first inning runs, the fewest of any team in the National League, while the Giants scored 131 opening inning runs, the second most in the National League.
In his 31 starts this year, Leiter himself gave up 11 first inning runs. You may be able to hear from time to time in this ball game Al Leiter out there really grunting on some of the pitches. The Giants hitters were talking about that. This is a maximum effort guy out there on the mound. He's not afraid to show his emotions. He gets very fired up.
He's just a lot of fun to watch. His teammates very much like watching him. They're lined up, standing along the first base side dugout, try to come in through the back door there. And it goes to 2-2. Point in a day and age where it seems many players almost robotic in their craft. Whatever the position, it's fun to watch a guy like Leiter out on the mound.
It really is. You can tell he's enjoying himself out there.
Fouled away, still 2-2. Leiter originally came up with the New York Yankees at 21 years old back in 1987. Only pitched for the Yanks in 22 games over 3 years. Traded for Jesse Barfield in '89. Battled an injured elbow until getting healthy in '93. Won a pair of World Series rings with the Jays. Won a third with Florida, then came to the Mets in '98. And he strikes out Miller. 2 up, 2 down.
We mentioned Al Leiter with that cut fastball being his best pitch. That's a dangerous pitch against this Giants lineup. We talked to Lou Piniella earlier this year about the Giants offense, and he said the one thing about the Giants is all their hitters can handle a fastball from the middle of the plate in. Of course, when that fastball has movement and is coming up there in the mid-90s, that's a whole different story.
Now the first ballot future Hall of Famer Barry Bonds. 306 during the regular year, 49 home runs, 106 knocked in. First pitch swinging, fouls it out of play. Bonds, of course, enters his 5th postseason of his major league career. 3 with the Pirates, 2 now with the Giants. A 200 career batting average in the playoffs until yesterday. 2 for 3. The RBI triple, drew a walk, stole a base, scored a run.
And certainly Barry and his teammates are hoping that that performance yesterday will go a long way towards quieting his past quiet postseasons.
0-1. And he's behind 0-2.
And keep an eye on Barry Bonds. The difference in his swings on pitches out over the plate from the outer third out off of the outside corner, and the difference in the swings he takes from the middle of the plate in. This guy is just lightning quick on pitches on the inside part of the plate. I really feel you do yourself a disservice to even try to come inside on Barry Bonds. It has to be way off the plate for a ball. See what he's done against Leiter in his career.
Home plate umpire Gary Cederstrom getting a new collection of baseballs and one that will suit Al Leiter. And that one apparently will work. He shook it to make sure there wasn't anything moving around in there.
Nothing loose on the inside. Now, pitchers this season have been listening for heartbeats in those baseballs when they get them back for umpires.
Oh, have they ever. 0-2 to Bob. Bounce to the right side. Zeal's got it, and a quiet first inning for the Giants. We go to the second. No score. The lights have been turned on here at Pac Bell Park, but the #1 complaint, a lot of players when they play on the West Coast at this starting time, a little after 5 in the afternoon, the ability to see the baseball.
Well, as you can see, the hitter's background out here is still very much in bright sunlight, while all the area around the infield and shallow outfield area is in dark shadows at this point. Really going to depend on the lights to help out the hitters. The prevailing winds here at Pac Bell Park blow across in this direction from the right field corner to the left field corner. Watch Ellis Burke's positioning in right field in this ball game. He usually shades over into the gap in left center, and Timo Perez, playing his first game here at Pac Bell Park this season, is really going to struggle out there if he is not familiar with the wind conditions of this ballpark.
And of course, Perez having to play because of the injured ankle in game 1 yesterday, suffered by Derek Bell. Robin Ventura down a strike. Left-handed batting third baseman got hit with a pitch from Sean Estes. Painful way to reach, but he's aboard nonetheless to begin the New York second.
Estes hit 3 batters during the regular season, tries to stand up Robin Ventura with a pitch on the inside part of the plate, and that just did get him.
Talking to Mookie's not going to make it feel better.
Well, they can tape an aspirin on it after the half inning's over. He'll be all right.
That'll do the trick.
Yep.
Now Benny Agbayani, the native of Honolulu, Hawaii, takes lone away ball 1. Agbayani during the regular year a .289 hitter, 15 home runs, 60 batted in, 1 for 3 in the series opener, also drew a walk. Interesting, Agbayani much better numbers this season against right-handers than against the southpaws. 2-0, and Estelle able to smother that, preventing Ventura from taking second base.
Ventura absolutely no threat to run over there at first base. He did steal 3 bags during the regular season in 8 attempts, mostly on broken hit and run plays when the catcher made a poor throw to second base.
2-0 on Agbayani. And it's ball 3, low and in. Estes wild in the opening inning, at least when a batter gave him a chance. He walked Piazza on 4 straight, fell behind Zeal 2-0. Eventually ran the count full and got him on a ground ball to second. Ball 4. A hit batsman and a walk, and the Mets have 2 on with nobody out here in the second. See, Estes against the Mets, it's where numbers can be very deceiving at times. You look at his win-loss record against New York in 2 starts, his ERA very low, but a very high walk count, which tells you the Mets had plenty of chances. They just failed to cash in.
And they have another opportunity right here with runners at first and second, nobody out. Jay Payton at the plate, a guy that you would normally think would be a candidate to put down a sacrifice bunt, but Payton has not put down a sac bunt all season.
The Mets 0 for 6 in game 1 with runners in scoring position. Will they bunt or will he hit? No sign of the bunt. A breaking ball in there, a strike.
That's a good move right there by Bobby Estelle, and a call for the breaking ball. Estes has had trouble getting the fastball over the plate, really struggling with his release point, so force him to throw something else. That particular pitch was a big breaking ball for a strike.
Jay Payton The 27-year-old rookie, former #1 pick all the way back in 1994 out of Zanesville, Ohio. Missed parts of 3 seasons, 1 entire year with 3 different surgeries on his right elbow and another on his left shoulder. And he swings and fouls it out of play. It's 0-2.
Well, Jay Payton has had an outstanding rookie season. I did it all for the rookie. Ranked first in hits, first in slugging percentage, second in home runs, second in average, third in RBIs. Payton with very good speed at the plate. Tough man to double up. Estes has induced 40 double play grounders this season. Led the major leagues in that category. We mentioned at the top of the show, averaging over 2 ground balls for every fly ball out he gives up. Estes has had a history of a guy that you could disrupt out there on the mound. You could get inside his head a little bit. Batters step in and out of the batter's box.
On the ground, it could be 2. They'd have to hurry. There's 1. No throw to first. So the fielder's choice by Payton advances Ventura on to third. Agbayani cut down at second. Runners on the corners and only 1 out. Decision time perhaps for Dusty Baker. You have Mike Bordick coming up. Al Leiter, who only has 3 hits and 58 at-bats next.
You see the attempted takeout at second base there by Benny Agbayani. As long as you can reach that base with any part of your body, you can go out of that baseline and try to distract that middle infielder. That time Agbayani clearly got his hand on the base as the feet were very near Rich Aurelian.
Mike Bordick, an all-star in the American League with Baltimore before coming over on the 28th of July. You see his numbers with New York. Runners on the corners and only 1 out, and Estes will send Payton back to the bag. Payton runs well, but not a good base stealer. 5 stolen bases, was cut down 11 times. The first scoring chance for Bobby Valentine's Mets comes here in inning number 2. And a breaking ball down low. Ball 1 to Mike Bordick. Bordick only a 180 batter with runners in scoring position this season. Pitch. Breaking ball low and outside. Bordick ahead at 2-0.
Mentioned the Mets hitters needed to be a little more patient. So far they've shown that for the most part in this ball game, but these are the situations now when you turn it around and be extremely aggressive. You've got a 2-0 count in your favor. Figure Estes has to come in there with something in the strike zone right now. You just want to give that opposing pitcher an opportunity to pitch himself into trouble. He has done that in this inning by hitting Robin Ventura, the walk to Benny Agbayani. Jay Payton with the fielder's choice erased Agbayani, but with runners at the corner, a 2-0 count. Look for Bordick to let it go if he gets a good pitch.
He set up away. And the breaking ball never took its cut. 3-0.
John Hess is having a lot of trouble out there with the mound here. Stumbled badly off on a pitch to Benny Agbayani earlier this inning, and that time was doing a little groundskeeping work out there on the mound as well. It's his home mound.
Rio to Bordick, and it's ball 4, and the Mets have the bases loaded. You're Dusty Baker, you're saying, well, another walk, and the control problems continue for Estes here in the inning. And Dusty's going to come out and have a chat with his young left-hander, but really not all that bad, considering that Al Leiter is coming up. And I mentioned a moment ago, Leiter, a terrible hitter. 3 hits in 58 at-bats this season.
Well, Dusty has shown tremendous patience with his young pitchers and young players on this Giants team this year. However, in the postseason, this is not a time to demonstrate to these young guys that you're going to have a lot of patience. You cannot afford to allow the other team to put big numbers on the board early in a ball game. As you said, it's very fortunate that he has Al Leiter at the plate right now, and then it rolls back around to the top of the order. But if Estes continues to have trouble throwing strikes here in the early part of this at-bat to Al Leiter, I look for bullpen activity right away.
Bases loaded for Leiter, and he looks at a fastball strike right down the gut. Leiter has batted 3 times with the bases loaded this season, 0 for 3. He has not knocked in a run the entire year. Puts down a bunt. They come to the plate, get the out there, so they cut down the lead runner. Nice play by Jeff Kent, making his 11th start this season at first base.
Well, a good idea by Al Leiter, who is just a brutal hitter, has no chance of doing any damage swinging the bat, but he puts down a pretty good bunt. Unfortunately for the Mets, it's too hard, and it's directly at Jeff Kent. And with the turtle-like Robin Ventura at third base, this is an easy play for Jeff Kent to come home, get the force play. Estalella was just taking a peek around the infield there to see if he had a play anywhere else, but nice job by Jeff Kent to cut down that run at home plate.
Bases loaded, 2 away, and now Timoniel Perez. First pitch swinging, fouls it out of play. Perez appeared in 24 games, had 49 at-bats after coming up to the major leagues. Hit .286 with a home run and 3 knocked in. Oh, 1 delivery. And a line drive center field base hit. Agbayani watches as 2 runs will score. Payton crosses and Bordick crosses, and the Mets lead 2-0. What a big hit by the rookie Perez.
He came on that big curveball that he struck out looking at in the first inning to start this ball game. We'll talk about a young player making an adjustment in the course of one at-bat to the next. This is the same pitch that knee buckled him in the first at-bat. He hangs in there and guides it back up the middle of the field for a base hit, driving home a couple of teammates.
The Mets have scored twice here in the second on only 1 base hit. Estes has hit a batter, he's walked 2. And the Mets have their first lead of the series. Now Edgardo Alfonso, and he looks at a strike. Alfonso bounced out to Miller his first time up. A check swing, foul ball. And Estes ahead of Edgardo Alfonso at 0-2. What a big base hit by Perez. Getting the start only due to the injury of Derek Bell in game 1. Just off the outside corner. Of course, Bell injured his ankle on the triple by Barry Bonds.
Bonds hooked the ball down into that right field corner, and as Derek Bell attempted to stop and field that ball, rolled over on that right ankle badly. Tried to stay in the ball game for a couple more pitches, but eventually had to come out of the game for Darrell Hamilton.
Swing and a miss, and that'll end the inning, but the Mets strike first on a 2-run single by Perez.
The Division Series on Fox is brought to you by Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road.
All-star Jeff Kent, an MVP candidate, will lead things off for the Giants. Not only a terrific player, but a bit of a perfectionist. Josh Lewin, our third man on the broadcast tonight, has more on that.
Well, you're right, Tommy, about Jeff Kent being a perfectionist. You don't think Dusty Baker looks out for his guys and knows his guys. This is the auxiliary press box here for the playoffs. 500 seats that normally are bleacher seats out here. This green frontage used to hang down here. That was the original plan. But Dusty figured that maybe Jeff Kent playing first base would stare into a sea of green, might miss a ball from shortstop, at the very least would complain about that. He ordered the director of stadium operations to clip right here. And Jeff Kent is certainly the kind of guy that would notice a very small stain on your shirt when no one else has mentioned it at all day. Dusty takes care of his guys.
Absolutely he does. And when you have a degree from Cal Berkeley, you tend to pick up things that most of the rest of us won't.
Check the angles.
Kent a swing and a miss. He's down a strike. What a year for Kent.
It really has been an outstanding year for Jeff Kent. That's a good point that Josh brought up. A lot of people don't realize that, you know, as a fan, your sight lines are looking down at the field, but as a player on the field, many times the background that you have will determine whether or not you can hit a baseball, or whether or not you can catch a baseball. There's been a lot of complaints about the rally towels that they've used here at the stadium. Passed out as the fans came into the ballpark, that it distracted the infielders. They had trouble picking up ground balls.
Leiter, a 1-2-3 opening inning. The Mets with a 2-0 lead on a 2-out, 2-run bases loaded single by Timonio Perez. Broken bat pop up in a shallow right, and that's the kind of season it's been for Kent. The former Met, 33 home runs and 125 batted in. Saws one off into right for a bloop single.
Well, when it's going good, it's going good. Jeff Kent gets jammed on a pitch out over the plate. That was supposed to be a cut fastball that just stayed out over the plate. Kent breaks his bat and just loops it out of the reach of Edgardo Alfonso. Been that kind of a year for Jeff Kent.
Now Ellis Burks. He hit the 3-run home run off Mike Hampton off the fair pole down the left field line in yesterday's Giant win. Oh, one outside.
Kent with that big 3-run home run in the game yesterday, using a little body English. Ball hits off the fair pole in left field, ricochets back down on the field. His son was the first one to meet him, Christopher, at home plate.
He's raring to go again tonight. Burks, a two-time All-Star, acquired from Colorado, and it's bounced foul. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Now, Kent is a guy that figures to do well against Al Leiter in that cut fastball. I'm sorry, Ellis Burks figures to be a guy to do well against Al Leiter. The home run he hit against Mike Hampton last night was on a cut fastball inside. He's very, very quick on pitches from the middle of the plate in.
1-1 the count. Kent with a leadoff single, the first Giant base runner of the game against Leiter. Kent on the move. Pitch taken down and in. And it squirts out of a glove of Piazza and gives Jeff Kent his first stolen base of the postseason. He had 12 during the regular year.
Well, the left-handed pitcher on the mounds, the Mets use that odd defensive alignment where the first baseman plays in front of the runner. And that time Kent got a very good read on Al Leiter's delivery to home plate. He was going to steal that base easily, even if Mike Piazza was able to get off a throw. A tremendous jump by Kent.
Burks deadly with runners in scoring position this season, a .348 batter. He knocked in 96 runs in just 393 at-bats, nearly becoming the first player in National League history to drive in 100 runs with less than 400 at-bats. Just off the inside corner.
Well, for the Giants and Ellis Burks this season, it truly has been Ellis in Wonderland. In the month of September, in 24 ball games, a .300 average, 4 homers, 16 RBIs. Dusty Baker's been very judicious in his use of Ellis Burks this year, usually playing 2 games of a series, sitting the third.
3-1. And he took a big cut, fouls it out of play. But certainly the most telling stat of all in a game overloaded with statistics. When Burks has been in the Giant lineup this season, they are 73 and 37. Those games where he's rested, they've won 24, they've lost 28.
Well, everybody knows what a great year Bonds and Kent have had. But especially against left-handed pitching, when you can somewhat neutralize Barry Bonds, pitch around Jeff Kent, it's up to Ellis Burks to clean up the mess.
Ground ball fair down the line. And the Giants on the board as Burks knocks in his 4th run.
Burks doing what he does best, turning on pitches from the middle of the plate in. Just past the diving Robin Ventura down into that left field corner, scoring Jeff Kent easily. Talked about Leiter being a guy that wears his emotions on his sleeve. No question he wasn't particularly happy about that pitch.
4 at-bats in the series for Burks. 4 runs batted in. He represents a tying run for Ramon Martinez, the second baseman. Martinez shows bunt, pitch taken inside. This is something Dusty Baker told us before the game. With this lineup, guys like Martinez and Calvin Murray, he'll do a few things that he otherwise wouldn't do when Ken is playing second, Bernard is playing center, and Snow's over at first.
Well, even if Dusty chooses to take the bunt off in this situation, Ramon Martinez is the kind of hitter that will take a shot, try to hit that ball to the right side to advance Burks to third base.
One and one.
Although it didn't appear like he was trying to do it on that pitch. Pulled that ball foul down the third baseline, but Dusty told us himself that Martinez is a very well-schooled player. You don't have to tell him what to do in a situation. In this situation, screams out for a ball hit to the right side.
A single by Kent. He stole second, scored on a double by Burks, who's a tying run in scoring position. And a fly ball in a straightaway center. Payton's got it for the first out of the inning. Well, Martinez getting the start, fails to advance Burks on to third. And now the shortstop Rich Aurelia, the pride of Xavier High in Brooklyn, New York.
Grew up a Mets fan. He said it's just absolute chaos in the Aurelia house back home. I got to believe they're rooting for Richie right now.
I think you're right.
I got to believe so.
Aurelia led all National League shortstops in home runs with 20 and runs batted in with 79. Mets lead 2-1 last of the second. Shows bunt, takes inside. We asked Aurelia, does he take some heat from his teammates being from the Empire State?
Everybody always gets on me for you know, all those movies, the gangster movies and stuff. And our guys always say, hey, Richie, forget about it, huh? Forget about it. And they were on me in New York saying everybody was, it's not, hey, Richie, how you doing? It's, yo, Richie, how's it going, man?
Yo, Richie. Well, he's doing pretty good this year. He's another one of those giant hitters, extremely quick from the middle of the plate in. 1 for 7 lifetime against Al Leiter. It doesn't take much of a mistake on that cut fastball on the inner half of the plate. If the ball has good velocity, good movement, you will get in on the hands of the right-hander. If it does not have as much movement or velocity, that's a pitch that these Giants right-handers will handle.
On the ground, down to third. Ventura looks Burks back to second base and throws out Aurelia, 2 away in the inning. Good work by Leiter to Martinez and Aurelia. Now the catcher, Bobby Estalella. .234 hitter during the regular season, 14 home runs, 53 runs batted in. Ball 1.
Estalella 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts against Al Leiter in his career.
Burks at second, 2 gone. The 1-0 swung on and missed. Challenged with a high fastball, and Estalella came up empty.
You mentioned Bobby Estalella hitting .234 on the season. He was hitting .302 as of July 2nd. I think really his first full year as an everyday catcher really took its toll down the stretch on Bobby Estalella. Did not affect his play behind the plate, however. Did a great job with this Giants staff.
Fastball again is high, 2-1. Sean Estes waits in the on-deck circle. Estes gave up 2 runs in the top of the second. The Giants have scored once off Leiter here in the bottom of the inning. 2-1 pitch. Popped up. Should end the inning. Piazza tucks it in the leather, and that's set. The Giants get 1. We're back after this word from your local Fox station.
The Division Series on Fox is brought to you by Nissan, driven by CDW, computing solutions built for business, by Yahoo Sports, fresh sports news 24 hours a day, and by Visa. It's everywhere you want to be.
Picturesque sunset here in Northern California. For the 3rd straight day, teams from the Big Apple going toe-to-toe with those from the Bay Area. Oakland and the Yankees, 2 straight nights in Oakland, splitting the first 2 games of that American League Division Series. And here in the National League, the Giants 5-1 winners yesterday, but Al Leiter with a 2-1 lead as we open the bottom of the 5th. Fly ball by Aurelia into short left field, and he's got it. And again, Leiter getting in on the hands of a Giant right-handed batter. We talked to Jeff Kent about facing Al Leiter.
He's going to be aggressive with his pitches. He's going to grunt out there like a tennis player. He's going to come at you hard. Maybe soft you outside with his breaking ball or a changeup every now and then just to keep you honest. But he's going to bust you in, so you have to be prepared to drive the ball, pull the ball if you're a right-handed hitter.
We'll hear that grunting from Al Leiter. Listen to this.
I think the tennis match is broken out. I mentioned it before, a maximum effort guy. Oh, that pitch is just... What makes Al Leiter so good with that cutter is his consistency with it. Very rarely does he leave it over the plate where a hitter can do damage. So many times a pitcher that throws that cut fastball, it'll be a 50-50 proposition. Sometimes it'll take the cut and move in on the hands of the righty. Sometimes it'll stay over the heart of the plate. Leiter's almost always bears in on the hand.
He is getting better as this game moves along. He's only made 1 mistake through the 4+ innings of this game, and that was a double to drive in a run off the bat of Ellis Burks. High fly ball down the left field line, and that ball bending foul. It would not have been enough to clear the fence had it stayed fair.
Then you heard Jeff Kent say, as a right-handed hitter, you have to be prepared to pull the ball against Al Leiter, really get the bat head out in front of home plate. And invariably what happens then is what just happened to Bobby Estalella. You maybe hit the ball hard, but it's hard to keep the ball fair because it's so far inside.
The other 2 Giant hits for all intents and purposes have been infield hits. A little bloop by Kent that barely made it to the outfield grass, and the infield single by Miller in the 3rd. 3-2 now on Bobby Estalella, who fouled out to Piazza, ending the Giants' 2nd inning. Payoff pitch. Fouled away. There's another thing you'll do a lot of, getting in on those hands. You'll hammer those balls off your ankles, your feet, your shins.
You see Leiter's been very economical with his pitches in this ball game. Averaged right around 17 pitches per inning during the regular season, so he is well under that mark in the ball game tonight.
Again, the 3-2. And again, it gets in on the hands of Estalella, and all he can do is pop it up. Ventura for the 2nd out. Boy, when this guy has that cut fastball going, he is some kind of nasty.
Also, he gets the eye out there on the mound. You know, he knows he's got good stuff tonight. He knows he's on top of his pitches. He knows he can get in on the hands of the Giants right-handers almost at will. And he gets that look out there on the mound. I know I can get you whenever I want.
Well, his big chink in the armor, so to speak, is a pitcher. He missed on 4 in a row to Estes, and now he's ball 1 on Kirk Reeder. Make that 2-0.
Go figure.
Three balls and no strikes, and Leiter talking to himself out there on the mound.
Yeah, it might just be a different mental approach. You're facing a hitter, a guy with a bat in his hands that you know can do damage. So you tell yourself, I'm going to make a good pitch. It's a positive thing. When the pitcher comes up there, he's perhaps telling himself, I don't want to walk this guy, which is a negative thing.
And there is ball 4 on Kirk Reeder. Well, now Leiter going to try and regroup. We asked him what he's thinking about when he's out there on the mound.
Like I said to Greg Maddux, that he's helping. Look at him helping. We got to talk, and I read about the importance of executing a quality pitch, and that's the only control we have. When that little ball leaves your hand, you can make a good pitch. The guy hits a swinging bunt or jam shot or whatever. It's bad play. But during that period of time, that's my control.
He's lost that control against the pitcher here tonight. He walked Estes back in the 3rd inning and walks Reeder with 2 away here in the bottom of the 5th. Calvin Murray has popped to 3rd and struck out. And now Leiter in front 0-2. We said the exact same thing back in the 3rd.
That really has no effect on the hitter other than after the fact. I mean, that ball is well on its way to home plate, maybe into the hitting area by the time he lets that grunt go. Yeah, once again, another hard hit ball, but pulled foul down the 3rd base line. So frustrating as a hitter when you do finally get the head of the bat on the ball and feel like you've made solid contact. The ball is well fouled down the 3rd base line.
Piazza hanging a sign. Leiter ahead of Calvin Murray in 0-2. The Mets with a 2-1 lead here in the last of the 5th inning. Fastball misses high and away. That's a call that Leiter got for strike 3 against Calvin Murray in the 3rd inning, but not this time.
Very close pitch after just getting hammered in on the hands. It's certainly understandable that Calvin Murray would lay off that pitch that appeared to break around the outside corner, just off of that corner.
Tried it again, and this time it's too low.
Yeah, the first one definitely missed away. This one caught a little bit more of the plate, but was down. Well, that's a very good pitch for Al Leiter, as I said, after jamming those right-handed hitters consistently to be able to drop that off-speed pitch on the outside corner.
Murray hanging around. Reeder gets started on the 3-2 pitch with 2 away, so he'll make the U-turn and come back to first base, and we'll do it again. 2 runs, 4 hits for New York. 1 run, only 3 hits for the Giants. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning in San Francisco. Pretty good at bat right here by Calvin Murray. Not making good contact, but he is making contact.
I mean, there's only one place you can hit that pitch, and that's over in the third base dugout. It's too close to take. It looks like it's going to be a strike as it comes up to the plate at the last instant. It bears in on the hands. The only place you can hit that ball is into foul territory.
This will be the 9th pitch in this at bat. Swing and a miss, and Leiter takes care of business in the 5th. That's his 5th strikeout. We go to the 6th. 2-1 Leiter in the Mets. In the 2nd inning with 2 away and the bases loaded, Timoniel Perez, a 2-run single into center field, scoring Jay Payton and Mike Bordick, giving the Mets a 2-0 lead. Last in the 2nd, a single by Kenny, stole second and scored on a double down the line by Ellis Burks, shaving the lead in half. But then the Giants threatening in the 3rd inning, and this to their pitcher Sean Estes. He had to leave the game with a badly turned left ankle.
Well, they tried to treat him in that Giants dugout to see if he would be able to strap up that left angle and perhaps take the ball and go back out to start the next inning, but he was just unable to do that. He's been taken for precautionary x-rays, and Kirk Reeder has taken over on the mound for the Giants. In Reeder's stint on the mound, he's given up only the 1 base hit to Perez, the 2-strike bunt down the 3rd baseline with 2 outs in the 4th inning.
Ladder 3rd and Bobby Valentine's batting order. Jay Payton, Mike Bordick, and then now Leiter. 0-1 to Payton, who twice has bounced into a fielder's choice and has scored a run. The Giants won the opener behind Livan Hernandez, Felix Rodriguez, and Rob Nen, holding the Mets down to just 1 run. And they lead this series 1-0. As it moves back to New York for Game 3 the day after tomorrow, a game the Mets have to win. It's interesting to note the Mets have won 4 series and dropped only 2 series after falling in Game 1 during their postseason. Popped up to the second baseman Martinez, and he's got it. New York lost Game 1 of the 1969 World Series at Baltimore before winning the next 4. They lost Game 1 in the 1973 National League Championship Series, went on to beat Cincinnati in 5. They also lost both Game 1 of the '86 NLCS at Thriller against the Houston Astros. And then, of course, that same season fell behind Boston 1 game none in the World Series. Bordick shoots one into right field. It'll fall in front of Burks, a base hit.
No, we've seen Kirk Reeder since he entered this ball game consistently paint that outside corner. Veteran hitter Mike Bordick reaches out there, takes that pitch away, and just shoots it into right field for a base hit. But Bobby Valentine has to love it when that number 8 hitter gets on base ahead of Al Leiter. We mentioned his problems at the plate this year. 0 for 2 in the ball game tonight, but he has put down 9 sacrifice bunts on the season.
And you know that's what he's up there to do right now, with Bordick at first and 1 away. Reeder misses outside. 1-0 to Leiter.
I mentioned the fact that Jeff Kent getting the nod at first base tonight. It's a slight disadvantage to the Giants defensively in this particular situation.
Estrella is going to second. They get one. The throw is in time. The double play. It looked like Leiter beat the throw to first, but Ed Montague calls him out, and a double play ends the inning. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Miller, Bonds, and Kent coming up. The Mets lead the Giants 2-1.
The Division Series on Fox is brought to you by Toyota. More choices, better selections. Experience Toyota today.
Again, a reminder, Saturday, if necessary, we'll be live from Safeco Field in Seattle. Frank Thomas and the White Sox trying to stay alive against Lou Pinella's Seattle Mariners. Game 4 of their AL Division Series, or the Giants and the Mets in Game 3 from Shea Stadium. The road to the World Series on Fox continues Saturday 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. Al Leiter takes the ball, climbs the mound here in the last of the 7th inning, and by and large has silenced what has been a raucous crowd in San Francisco, going back to when this ballpark opened in April. See the pitch count, 90 for Leiter as he begins the 7th against Ellis Burks, who knocked in the only Giant run with a double in the 2nd inning. Burks shows bunt, takes high, ball 1. Leiter's retired 10 of the last 11. He has struck out 6, walked 2, allowed 1 run on 3 base hits. Two and 0 on Ellis Burks. The Mets with 2 runs in the 2nd. The Giants, the RBI double by Burks in the bottom of the inning. And then they were threatening the Giants in the 3rd before Sean Estes rolled over on his left ankle and had to leave the game. Kirk Reeder has been superb since taking over back in the 4th inning. Two and 0 on Ellis Burks. And another foul ball and yet another broken back.
Al Leiter should be under contract to the bat companies because he keeps them in business over the course of the summer. He regularly breaks 4, 5, 6 bats, maybe more on a given game. We talked about Ellis Burks at length in this ballgame, how quick he is from the middle of the plate in, and Leiter able to get in his hands and break the bat. Quite a resume for Ellis Burks.
And had it not been for the back injuries, the knee injuries, there'd be a lot more all-star games, a lot more home runs, and a lot more gold gloves. 2-1 pitch on the way. Low and outside, 3 balls and a strike. Ramon Martinez waits in the on-deck circle, and then it'll be Rich Aurelio. Big pitch again on a hitter's count. 3-1. And he misses inside. The tying run aboard to open the San Francisco 7th. We'll see if Bobby Valentine gets anybody started in that New York bullpen. They have been spectacular in the postseason, going back to Game 2 of last year's National League Championship Series. A bullpen that has a 1.50 ERA in the postseason. Throwing over maybe to find out whether or not Martinez would show if he's up there to bunt or if he's up there to swing away.
That's become a common practice in what is not necessarily an obvious sacrifice situation, just to see if that batter will tip what he's going to do. Leiter does not have a good pickoff move at first base at all. And that time Martinez showing nothing at the plate once again. You see Burks 5 stolen bases in 6 attempts on the regular season.
But more than capable of stealing a base. They just don't ask him to do it much with all the injuries he's had the last 2 seasons. Martinez shows bunt, and it's a strike.
I think one reason that Dusty Baker would be tempted, and it's quite a temptation, to allow Martinez to swing away in this situation. This is when you're most likely to get a pitch to hit from Al Leiter. An obvious bunt situation. He laid a fastball in there on the first pitch for the called strike. That wasn't the nasty cutter that runs in on the hands. That was a 4-seam fastball right down the heart of the plate.
Bunted back to the mound. Leiter goes to second. They get the out there. Throw to first, not in time. So they cut down the lead runner and trade it out.
A poor bunt by Martinez right back to the mound. This is the one area you want to keep the ball away from. Yeah, Leiter has been known to make some defensive miscues out there on the mound, but that time the ball was bunted hard right back to him with direction from his catcher, Mike Piazza. He throws in plenty of time to get the lead runner at second base, even with the little fadeaway throw. Kind of released the ball to second base and then moonwalked away from it.
Now Rich Aurelio for 2 is bounced to third and popped up to shallow left field. Aurelio with 20 home runs during the regular season. On the inside edge, a called strike. Al Leiter has silenced Dusty Baker's Giants through the first 6 1/3 innings here tonight. He's only allowed 1 run on 3 base hits. Leiter unquestionably pitching the biggest game the Mets have played this season. Already down 1-0 in this best-of-5 division series. A fly ball into shallow center. Payton charging in, and he's got it for the second out. 2 away. Martinez still at first, and let's take a moment to look at our Toyota game summary. Timo Perez, a pair of hits in his first postseason start, has knocked in both New York runs. Leiter has taken care of the rest. And we mentioned earlier, Estes had to leave the game with an ankle injury back in the bottom of the 3rd.
3 most valuable player candidates in this ball game here tonight. A lot of veteran hitters up and down both of these lineups, but the best adjustment in the ball game was made by the youngster Timo Perez after striking out in the first inning on a big curveball from Sean Estes. Came up to the plate in the second inning with a couple men on base, hit the very same curveball for a base hit back into center field to drive home 2 runs.
Now Bobby Estelea. With Martinez at first, 2 away. The Mets leading 2-1 last of the 7th. Russ Davis has moved into the on-deck circle and would bat for Kirk Reeder should we get that far. Fastball misses high, and Estelea 1-0. Double barrel action now in the San Francisco bullpen. Henry is ready to go wearing number 57 and getting loose more than likely should the Giants take the lead. The hard throwing young right-hander Felix Rodriguez. Two 2-0 now on Bobby Estelea. Field so critically important to both of these ball clubs. They tied for the best home record in the major leagues at 55-26. 2-1 on Estelea. Every road team will tell you if they have to start away from home to begin a series, they'd be very happy with a split.
Well, obviously you try to win both games, but realistically, even throughout the course of the regular season, you will settle for 500 ball on the road over the course of the season.
Martinez leads at first, and another throw over there will send him back to the bag. Bobby Valentine's Mets advanced on to the NLCS last season against Atlanta. They're trying to get back there again. Swing and a miss on a 3-1, and the count is full. Leiter Leiter has had better games statistically than we've seen here tonight, but I'm not sure his stuff has been any better than it is so far tonight.
Well, every time he's had to make a big pitch, that last pitch to Bobby Estalella, this is a guy that definitely has home run power. Leiter behind in the count, 3-1. He has to come in with a fastball, and he still throws a quality cutter just off the inside corner to get the swinging strike.
Lined into left field and foul. We've talked about it time and time again, Bobby. You brought it up. You have to feel helpless at times if you're a right-handed hitter, if Leiter is hitting his spots.
And he is definitely hitting his spots in this ball game tonight. That's probably the 20th ball we've seen hit hard down the left field line, but foul. You just have to hope he makes a mistake. And even then, it's not easy to handle.
Again pulled foul.
Unless you could figure out a way to turn the field around, you know.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think so. Well, Bobby Estalella just wants to make sure his teammates are into the ball game, just in case any of them are napping over there. He hits a screaming line drive off of that retaining fence just in front of the Giants dugout.
Well, runner Martinez gets started again on a 3-2 pitch. Leiter the pause and turns it loose. Popped up, third base side. Ventura drifting over near the stands, but it's out of play.
Well, on the positive side, if you're a fan and you've got seats on the third base side of the field when Al Leiter's pitching, there's a pretty good chance you're going to get to take home a souvenir.
Postseason baseball. Pacing around. Hoping for that final out of an inning. Hoping for that big base hit to tie the game. And every pitch so very much magnified, quite obviously, in the playoffs. Leiter set to uncork his 108th pitch of the night. The 9th pitch in this at bat between Leiter and Bobby Estalella.
It's got to be very tempting for Mike Piazza to call for that slow breaking ball on the outside corner that we've seen Leiter use throughout this ball game. However, that's a pitch with a greater margin for error for Al Leiter. He doesn't always throw that pitch where he wants to. That cut fastball is his bread and butter pitch. I would imagine he's going to stay with it.
Take a peek in at Mike Piazza and what he wants to do. The 10th pitch in this at bat coming up.
I believe that's a cutter inside once again. Leiter shaking off a series of signs right there. A little cat and mouse going on between Bobby Estalella and Al Leiter right now. Mike Piazza was getting cramps back there. Had to stand up and get out of that crouch.
3-2 pitch. High pop-up, left side of the infield. Ventura calling off Mike Bordick, and that is that in the San Francisco 7th. We go to the 8th. New York 2, the Giants 1. From the creators of the Blair Witch Project comes the series premiere of Freaky Links tomorrow, 9 Eastern, 8 Central, after the season premiere of Police Videos. Freaky Links tomorrow, 9 Eastern, 8 Central, here on Fox. Robin Ventura trying to bunt his way aboard, and it rolls foul. Well, for those of you just joining us, it's the top half of the 8th inning. And all the scoring in this game took place in the 2nd. With 2 away and the bases loaded, Timoniel Perez A 2-run single into center field off Giants starter Sean Estes. Estes had to leave the game in the third after badly injuring his ankle running the bases. Jeff Kent started the second against Leiter with a bloop single, stole second. And the Giants' only run scored on a double by Ellis Burks. The Mets trying to even this series in 1 game apiece before heading back to Shea Stadium for Game 3 on Saturday. Breaking ball from Reeder is outside. And activity for the first time tonight in the New York Mets bullpen. The right-hander, a starter throughout the regular season, Bobby Jones, beginning to get loose. Outside and low, 3-1 now on Ventura.
As you mentioned, Jones, a starter throughout the regular season, did not have an appearance out of the bullpen all year long.
3-2 now on Ventura. Pulled foul. It'll stay 3 balls, 2 strikes. Ventura followed in the inning by Benny Agbayani and then Jay Payton. 2 runs, 6 hits, no errors, 8 men left on base for the Mets. The Giants 1 run, only 3 hits against Al Leiter. No errors, and they've stranded only 4. High fly ball into right field. Burks is there, 1 away. We remind you, as always, this copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent of Major League Baseball. Now Dusty Baker making his way out of the Giant dugout. He has a right-hander, Doug Henry, who's been up for quite some time, ready in the bullpen. And the left-hander, Alan Embry, has just gotten up to join him. Terrific job by Reeder out of the San Francisco bullpen in emergency duty here tonight. And he'll get a warm round of applause from the crowd in San Francisco. Mets lead 2-1, batting in the 8th inning. For over 13 years, the MetLife Blimps have been providing aerial television coverage of sporting and special events. Tonight, Snoopy 2 brings you the aerial shots of the Mets and Giants. Look to the skies as the MetLife Blimps visit a town near you. Tom Brenneman, Bob Brenly, our entire Fox crew on hand here in San Francisco. And now Dusty Baker goes to his bullpen and summons a right-hander, Doug Henry.
This guy just continues to show up in the postseason every year. In '97 as a member of this Giants pitching staff. In '98 and '99 as a member of the Astros staff in the division series. A 1.23 ERA in division series play.
He gets ahead of Benny Agbayani, 0-1.
See his numbers on the season. You may remember I mentioned earlier that the only significant injuries that the Giants suffered this year were to Joe Nathan and John Johnstone, a couple of pitchers, one a starter, one a reliever. The loss of Johnstone was eased somewhat by the fact the Giants were able to go out on July 30th and acquire Doug Henry, reacquire Doug Henry from the Houston Astros, and he's really taken up a lot of the slack that John Johnstone filled last year.
Agbayani, 1 of 2, has walked, singled, and bounced to second. And a slider is on the outside corner. It's 0-2. One ball, 2 strikes. Jay Payton waits in the on-deck circle. Outstanding work by Reeder.
Yeah, you said it. Just an outstanding job on short notice. Kirk Reeder probably came to the ballpark today anticipating sitting on the bench, eating some sunflower seeds and watching a big league ball game. Ends up throwing 4 1/3 innings, a very solid relief.
Henry tried the slider again. Too low to Agbayani. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The break-even pitch. And it's fouled back out of play. And Agbayani upset with himself there. Henry left the pitch out over the plate. It hung up there a bit, and he just missed it.
That appeared to be one of those anti-sliders. Had slider rotation, but the ball just stayed up over the heart of the plate. A good pitch to hit for Agbayani, just underneath it. Take one more look at that pitch from Doug Henry. That's indeed slider spin. You can see that tight rotation. The pitch was up above the belt. Got away with one right there.
Again, the 2-2. Fastball that time. Full count on Benny Agbayani.
Trying to stay loose over there on that Mets bench. It's turned into a very chilly evening here in San Francisco.
0-4 off the outside corner to Agbayani. So Henry walks the first batter he faces.
Boy, Doug Henry definitely wanted this pitch, as did Bobby Estalella behind the plate. Well, everybody wanted it but Benny Agbayani. And home plate umpire Gary Cederstrom chooses to send him on down to first base, and he will now be taken down for a pinch runner. I believe that's Joe McEwing coming into the ball game to pinch run.
Super Joe, they called him in St. Louis, coming up with the Cardinals, and has done a nice job this season for these New York Mets. So he will run for Benny Agbayani. Agbayani able to reach base 3 times in the game here tonight.
McEwing 3 for 4 in stolen base attempts on the season. Does not have blazing speed over there at first base. He's a very good base runner, but at this stage not a great base stealer.
Jay Payton 0 for 3 is scoring a run. That one picked out of the dirt by Jeff Kent, playing first base here tonight. We mentioned earlier only the 11th or the 12th time actually this season he's made 11 starts before tonight over at first.
That ball bounced in the dirt over there to Jeff Kent at first base. Now, that may not seem like very much, but that same ball is still in play, and with a veteran pitcher like Doug Henry on the mound, they know what to do when they get a baseball with a scuff on it. Usually a hitter in that particular situation, if you see that ball go into the dirt, either the hitter or one of the coaches or the manager or somebody from the bench will ask the home plate umpire to throw that ball out of play.
Count on Jay Payton. Ground ball off the glove of Henry. They get one. The throw and they get 2. The Giants bat in the bottom of the 8th inning, trailing the Mets 2-1.
Division Series on Fox is brought to you by Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers. By UPS, moving at the speed of business. By IBM, taking e-business and your business to the next level. And by Autotrader.com, the biggest, best used car site on the planet.
Like something out of a Dean Koontz novel, the fog covers Pac Bell Ballpark from our blimp. But they are rocking on the inside as the Giants come to bat in the bottom of the 8th inning. They trail the Mets 2-1. And Al Leiter's still out there for the Mets. Joe McEwing remains in the game, taking over in left field for Benny Agbayani. Quick scouting report on the pinch hitter. Felipe Crespo, the most used pinch hitter this season by Dusty Baker. 15 hits and 51 at-bats, including a home run.
Crespo, a switch hitter, much stronger from the left side of the plate. He'll be asked to go to the plate and face Al Leiter, batting from the right side. 2 for 12 as a right-handed pinch hitter.
Here we go, bottom of the 8th inning. Crespo, then the top of the order, Murray and Miller. And Leiter kicks and fires on the inside corner, a strike. Bobby Valentine in the 7th inning had John Franco, a left-hander, and Bobby Jones, a right-hander, getting loose in his bullpen. They have taken a seat. This is Leiter's to win or lose here tonight. Broken back, caught in foul ground by Ventura, one away.
You know, Tom, they say some guys make it look easy out there on the mound. Well, the hitters may think it looks easy, but watch the faces of Al Leiter. This guy's working hard out there every pitch. He's working hard on the bench, watching the inning. Running out there on the mound. Boy, this is a guy that comes to play when it's his turn to take the ball.
One away in a Giants 8th inning, and here's Calvin Murray. He shows bunt, and did he go? They appeal down to first, and no. Says Ed Montague, it's ball 1 to Murray, who's 0 for 3 in the game. On the ground, pulled foul, 1 ball and 1 strike. Murray really battled Leiter his last time up in the 5th inning. A 10-pitch at bat before Leiter struck him out. Check swing, fouled out of play, and Leiter in front of Murray in 1 and 2. All the scoring took place back in the 2nd inning. Timoniel Perez, a 2-run single with 2 outs and the bases loaded, giving New York a 2-0 lead. And then Burks an RBI double to score Kent, making it 2-1. 2-2 now on Calvin Murray. But Giants have not had a hit since the 3rd inning. And that was an infield hit on that play at second base when Sean Estes was injured. It was ruled an infield single for Miller.
Felix Rodriguez warming up in the Giants bullpen. He has been the main right-handed setup man for Rob Nen all season long for the Giants.
Rodriguez struck out Darrell Hamilton with the bases loaded, ending the 8th inning in game 1. 3-2 now on Calvin Murray. Three balls, 2 strikes. Wind into left center field, a base hit. And the Giants have their first hit since the 3rd, and the tying run aboard here in the bottom of the 8th.
The Giants right-handed hitter is finally able to keep a ball fair to left field. Cutter that just stayed out over the heart of the plate. I'm sure he wanted that pitch in a little bit further, but Cal Murray able to get the head of the bat on the ball, line it into left field. The Giants right-handed hitters have not hit a ball to the right side of second base in this game.
Armando Benitez, the Mets closer, now gets up. Benitez, like Nen, has had a spectacular year. The best closers in Major League Baseball this season play for the 2 teams that are squaring off here tonight. And people can argue all they want. The stats simply don't lie. Nen and Benitez, the 2 best closers in the game this season. Bill Miller, the batter. And he takes a strike on the outside corner.
Once again, the Mets using that very odd defensive alignment when they have a left-handed pitcher on the mound, as they do tonight with Al Leiter. Todd Zeile, the first baseman, positions himself well off the bag, right in front of the runner. A designated signal lets Todd Zeile know when Al Leiter's going to throw the pickoff move over there to first base. When he is not throwing to first, Zeile will occasionally bluff back toward the bag, trying to decoy that runner into going back toward first base as the ball is delivered to home plate.
Another throw over, sending Murray back to the bag.
Leiter up to the 119 pitch mark in this ballgame. Only the 5th inning when he really labored, but other than that, he has been in total command of this game.
On the ground, could be 2. Bordick for 1. Throw to first, and that's a double play. Leiter applauds his defense behind him. He's gone through 8 and has a 1-run lead.
You're watching Fox Sports.
Top half of the 9th inning at Pac Bell Ballpark in San Francisco. The Mets trying to even this series at 1 game apiece after getting beat by Livan Hernandez yesterday in a series opener. And now to pitch tonight for the Giants, right-hander Felix Rodriguez.
One-time Dodger catcher farmhand, one-time Arizona Diamondbacks closer. Now the main right-handed setup guy for Rob Nen here with the Giants has had an outstanding season for Dusty Baker.
Al Leiter due up 2nd in the inning. They have Benitez warming up in the bullpen as Mike Bordick takes high, ball 1. Bordick has been aboard twice. As walks scored, bounced to 2nd and single. That one nowhere close. And Dusty Baker not going to take any chances. If Rodriguez is showing out on the mound that he just doesn't have it tonight, and every pitcher has those kind of nights. He has Rob Nen getting ready in the bullpen. Two and 1.
Rodriguez consistently in the mid to upper 90s with his fastball. Took a lot off. 93 on that called strike right there on the 2-0 count. Very free and easy motion by Felix Rodriguez. The ball just seems to explode out of his hand. He'll be up high if he's too wound up for this game.
Swing and a miss on a 96-mile-per-hour fastball, and it's 2-2. What a huge out Rodriguez got yesterday in the 8th inning, striking out Darrell Hamilton with the bases loaded. 2-2 pitch. Strike 3 called on the outside corner. That one at 97.
Well, just look at the free and easy motion by Felix Rodriguez. Very slow, and then the explosion in the arm speed to deliver that ball in the high 90s right on the outside corner to Mike Bordick. That's nearly an unhittable pitch right there.
Al Leiter is going to bat. Here in the top half of the 9th inning, Armando Benitez has taken a seat in that New York bullpen.
Well, Barry Bonds is the leadoff hitter in the bottom half of the 9th inning for the Giants. We perhaps could see Al Leiter go back out to take the mound for the bottom half of the inning, retire Bonds or pitch to Bonds, and then turn the ball over to Armando Benitez to face the rest of this right-handed heavy Giants lineup.
Oh, and 2 to Leiter.
Either that or he thinks Al Leiter's going to get a hit. No, that's not it.
I don't think that's it. Pretty good cut right there on a pitch out over the plate. Leiter behind at 0-2. We mentioned Bobby Valentine has taken the New York Mets to the postseason in consecutive years, the first time that has ever happened in New York Mets franchise history. He's compiled a winning percentage of .565 in his first full seasons as the Mets manager. Yet, like Dusty Baker, neither has a contract for next year. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Valentine managed the Texas Rangers from '85 and through '92. Took over for Dallas Green for the final 31 games of that '96 season, and Leiter gone on strikes. 2 batters, 2 strikeouts for Felix Rodriguez.
Well, the biggest hit in the ball game came back in the 2nd inning. Timo Perez on a breaking ball from Sean Estes went right back up the middle of the field to drive home Jay Payton and Mike Borden. I mentioned it at the time, and I mentioned it later. A tremendous adjustment by a very young hitter. Had his knees buckled on that same pitch to lead off the ball game. Came back up and looked for it his 2nd at bat. He got it, and he did not miss it.
Bobby Valentine was asked a question before the game after the lineup card was posted. Why Perez and not Bubba Trammell? He said, hey, look, this kid has played a lot more outfield in his career than has Trammell. We like his speed, and we like the things he's capable of doing in the outfield especially. Anything we get from him at the plate is a bonus, and it is a bonus bonanza so far here tonight. On Perez. And their strike as Perez shows bunt. 2-1. If you're looking ahead of the Giant 9th inning, as Bob mentioned, the heart of the order, the 3 best hitters in the lineup: Barry Bonds, Jeff Kent, and Ellis Burks. Foul out of play, count even. Al Leiter, 8 innings of 4-hit baseball. Has thrown the clamps on this high-octane Giants offense tonight. Still 2-2.
You mentioned Perez got the nod tonight, as you mentioned, because Bobby Valentine felt he had played more outfield than anybody he had available. Also, in his 2 at-bats in the ball game last night, Bobby said this kid didn't look intimidated. He didn't look scared. He had 2 very good at-bats, even though he went hitless. Hanging in there tough here against a tough right-hander.
Perez trying to keep it alive for Edgardo Alfonso. Leiter in the Mets with a 1-run lead in the 9th inning. This kid's fun to watch. I mean, he's up there hacking. Ain't no fooling around here tonight. Timo getting his chance, and he's had a big ball game.
Well, you come into a series anticipating that certain star quality players are going to be the showcase, but as we've seen from postseasons past, you never know who the hero is going to be.
Melvin Mora, big postseason star last year for the Mets. Lined into left field, and Perez has his 3rd hit of the night. His first postseason start. 3 hits and 5 at bats and has knocked in both Mets runs in the game.
Alfonso's had a rough night at the plate for the Mets. 0 for 4. We may see Perez on the move over there at first base. Felix Rodriguez on the mound has surrendered 7 stolen bases in 10 attempts on the season. He does use a slide step to the plate on occasion. Other times he'll use the high leg kick. Should Perez pitch the right pitch to run on, he should be able to steal a bag right here. With a 1-run lead, the Mets may gamble a little bit right now. Had Alfonso been swinging the bat better, I feel they'd go ahead and let him take his at bat right here.
Alfonso has bounced to third, struck out, fly to right. He did hit the ball very, very hard his last time up in the 7th inning against Reeder. That was a drive that sent Calvin Murray back to the wall in right center field to corral it. Remember, it was the 9th inning last year where Edgardo Alfonso in the division series hit that grand slam off Arizona's Bobby Chenard. The Mets beating Randy Johnson in game 1 of that series and went on to win in 4 games. And Rodriguez paying a lot of attention to Perez at first base.
He's getting a pretty big lead over there at first. First couple of deliveries, or rather the first couple of pickoff attempts, he had a relatively short lead and they were close plays at first, but he's gotten an extra half a step after seeing Rodriguez's move a couple of times.
Rodriguez very close to balking right there. It didn't appear from here as though he came to a complete stop in the stretch position.
That's what speed on the bases will do. It will change the way the defense has to make plays. It will change the pitches that a catcher calls. It will change the way a pitcher delivers the ball to home plate. Just the threat of the stolen base by Perez.
Two and 0 on Edgardo Alfonso, and he smokes one into deep left center field, and Edgardo Alfonso has homered in the 9th inning. We talked about Alfonso in the 9th inning of game 1 last year in Arizona, and he delivers a huge 2-out 2-run blast in the 9th inning of game 2 to give the Mets a 3-run lead.
You mentioned the ball that he hit hard deep to center field in his last at bat. This time gets a pitch a little over the heart of the plate, down low where he likes it, got full extension, good carry on this ball. You know, Tommy, I think this fog has cut down on a lot of the wind here at the ballpark. That's a pitch that normally would have stayed in the ballpark. Al Leiter, you know he'll have a reaction to it. The Giants outfielders were talking early in the season here at this ballpark that balls hit to left field that are above the wind pillow, if you will. That breeze that blows across from right to left, if they hit it above that pillow, it seems to continue to carry further and further. That ball just seemed to defy gravity as he went out there into left center field.
Alfonso taking a bow indeed. A 2-run blast here in the Mets 9th inning. And now Leiter with a 3-run cushion rather than the 2-1 lead. Here's Piazza. And he fouls it away. A ball, a strike. Piazza 2 for 3 in the game. He's been on base 3 times. Rounded foul. Alfonso, we mentioned a native Venezuelan. Over the last 2 seasons has hit 52 home runs and knocked in 202. He was an all-star for the first time this year, and there are many more of those to come.
just quietly went about his business this season, doing what he does so well, getting on base ahead of Mike Piazza and other RBI guys in the lower part of that order, and driving in whatever runs were available when he had an opportunity. 94 RBIs on the season for the Mets second baseman.
2-2 on Piazza. Grounded foul. It's amazing how perceptions can change and then become reality. Bobby Valentine going into this game, changing around his lineup. He had Beniat Bayani leading off against the left-hander, or the right-hander Hernandez, pardon me, in game one. Jay Payton batting second. He completely moves around the lineup here tonight. Puts in Perez, who has 3 hits, has scored a run, knocked in 2. Alfonso moved to the number 2 hole. And in the 9th, a 2-run home run. Piazza pops it up behind the plate. And Estrella able to battle the wind and make the catch. So now Leiter takes a ball in the bottom of the 9th inning. Thanks to the 2-run home run by Alfonso, it's 4-1 Mets. More great postseason baseball on Fox if necessary. Game 4, the Mariners and the White Sox from Seattle. Or Game 3, the Giants and the Mets from Shea. The road to the World Series on Fox continues Saturday, 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. Giants come to bat last half of the 9th inning. Trailing Al Leiter and the Mets 4-1. It'll be Bonds, Kent, and Burks to face a New York southpaw who has turned in a big-time performance for his team here tonight.
Well, we said it at the top of the show, Al Leiter is the best big-game pitcher in this Mets rotation, and he certainly has stepped up in the ballgame tonight.
Barry Bonds 0 for 3. And he takes outside ball 1. As you predicted, Leiter to face Bonds. Even with a 3-run lead, Bobby Valentine has his closer Armando Benitez ready in the bullpen. Right-handed batters Kent and Burks to follow Bonds, who rips one into right center field. It'll go to the wall. Bonds on his way to second with a stand-up double to begin the San Francisco night.
Leiter's done a good job of not giving Barry Bonds anything on the inside part of the plate to handle, so Bonds reaches out over the plate and hooks this ball back into the gap in right center field. That was a pitch that normally you'd see a guy hit to the opposite field, but Bonds was looking out over the plate where Leiter had been working him all night long, was able to get the head of the bat on the ball and find the gap.
Dave Wallace, the pitching coach, signals for Benitez in the bullpen. So he'll come on to face Kent, Burks, and Martinez. The Giants batting in the bottom of the 9th, down 3. We'll be back after this.
Al Leiter, an outstanding performance for the Mets in the ball game tonight. Works into the 9th inning, gave up only the 5 base hits, 6 strikeouts, 3 walks, made the big pitches when he had to in this ball game.
Now he'll give way to the hard-throwing right-hander, the closer of the Mets, who saved 41 games this season, Armando Benitez. And he delivers strike 1 to Jeff Kent.
Well, the numbers on Benitez are staggering. He's held right-handed batters to a 160 average on the season. Lefties have hit only 134 against the Mets closer.
Kent 1 of 2 in his career against Benitez. The hit was a home run. Check swing, and he went around, and Benitez quickly ahead of Kent at 0-2. So intimidating out there on the mound. He goes 6'4", 240 pounds.
mentioned it, Armando Benitez is the close horse. His 41 saves are a franchise record, tied for third in the National League, fifth in the major leagues, averaging over 12 and a half strikeouts per 9 innings.
1-2 to Kemp. And a ground ball in the hole. Falling down is Bordick. The throw is not in time.
Bordick, another player in this ballgame, to stumble around in an effort to make a defensive play. Hard one-hopper hit to his right. He gets to the ball in good shape, but somehow lost his footing before he got to the ball. By the time he gets up and makes the throw across the infield, Kent's in safely with that head-first slide at first base. Bordick's momentum just carried him down to the ground. By the time he recovers, Kent is safe at first.
Here comes Ellis Burks, representing the tying run in the bottom of the 9th inning. A fly ball in a short right. Perez waiting, and he's got it. A huge out for Armando Benitez. One away in the bottom of the 9th inning. Al Leiter trying to get his first postseason win since pitching for Toronto in the World Series against Philadelphia in 1993.
And with the right-hander Benitez now on the mound, Dusty Baker will go to his bench. He's got 3 left-handed pinch hitters available: Armando Rios, Marvin Bernard, and the man he has selected, J.T. Snow, a .284 hitter on the season, 19 homers, 96 RBIs. He is 0 for 2 lifetime against Armando Benitez with 2 strikeouts.
Snow digs in. Representing a tying run. And it's ball 1 away. Bonds dancing around out there at second base. He nearly lost his footing. Had Benitez turned around and looked at him, he'd have picked him off. Come from behind wins this season for Dusty Baker's Giants. Can they rally in the 9th inning tonight?
Now you mentioned with Bonds dancing around off the bag at second base. That time Benitez went to that inside move back to second just to make sure Bonds had no thoughts about attempting to steal third base. And J.T. Snow did the proper thing for a hitter in that situation. He immediately called timeout at the plate.
How big is that home run in the top of the 9th inning by Edgardo Alfonso now? 2-0 on J.T. Snow. Dusty Baker's Giants trying to rally and take a 2-0 lead in this best-of-5 division series. The New York Mets, they have to win this game to even this series at a game apiece. On the inside corner, it's 2-1 to Snow. Only once in division series history has a team fallen behind 2-0 and rallied to win the series. The 1995 Seattle Mariners beating the New York Yankees 3 straight at the Kingdom. High fly ball in a deep right field, going back to the wall.
Snow has played in this ballpark all summer. He knows that balls hit down the right field line don't hook. Look at him pointing into fair territory. The only question was, did he get enough to get it up onto the landing? Yes, indeed he did.
The unbelievable has happened here in San Francisco. A pinch hit 3-run home run by J.T. Snow, and it's a 4-4 game.
It's been a different hero every day for this Giants ball club this summer. Today is J.T. Snow's day.
That is his first pinch hit home run in his major league career. Swing and a miss by Aurelia. Now, granted, Snow generally an everyday player. He hasn't had a lot of pinch hit appearances, 22 to be exact. That at bat number 23, and Cash is in to tie it here in the 9th inning. And Al Leiter, extremely disappointed, as you can well imagine, in that New York Mets dugout. 0-2 now on Aurelia.
"38 come from behind victories this season for the San Francisco Giants." It's a trademark of a Dusty Baker managed ball club. They never feel they're out of a game.
The 0-2 to Aurelia. Fastball outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. The inning started with a double to right center field against Leiter off the bat of Barry Bonds. Armando Benitez came in. Kent with an infield single to the hole at short. A play which Mike Bordick fell down. On the ground to Bordick. He'll keep his footing this time and throws out Aurelia for the 2nd out of the inning.
Bobby Estelle, you could see him clearly waiting around there to see if Dusty Baker was going to pinch hit for him. He does have 2 left-handed hitters available, Armando Rios, Marvin Bernard. Dusty took a look around, took a look at his lineup card, pointed to Bobby Estelle and said, get up there and do something.
2 down, bottom of the 9th of a 4-4 affair. And a fastball at the knees is a strike. An unbelievable 9th inning here at Pac Bell Park. It's 0-2. Edgardo Alfonso, with 2 outs and 1 on in the top of the 9th inning, hit a 2-run home run to the seats in left center field, giving Al Leiter a 4-1 lead. But the never say die Giants under Dusty Baker get 2 hits and a pinch hit 3-run home run by Snow. That one popped up into shallow left field. Bordick, the shortstop, the call, the catch, and we go to the 10th inning. J.T. Snow, the first pinch hit home run of his major league career. Two runs on a home run off the bat of Edgardo Alfonso in the top of the 9th. But with 2 on and 1 out in the bottom of the 9th, J.T. Snow ties the game with a 3-run home run just fair down the right field line. So on we go to the 10th. Felix Rodriguez on the mound, and he faces Todd Zeile, ball 1 low and away. In extra inning games this season, the Mets were 10-8. The Giants were 7-5. Snow remains in the game to play first base. Kent moves to his regular position at second. 1-1 to Zeile. Ground ball, right side. Kemp throws outfield. Let's go downstairs to Josh Lewin.
Guys bumped into J.T. Snow in the clubhouse tunnel in the 4th inning when Sean Estes was out, and he had his typical California casualness about him. He said Woody's going to hold him, Woody being Kirk Reeder, and we'll get him. Well, Woody went 4 1/3 innings of shutout ball, and who was it that got it? It was J.T. Snow.
Terrific stuff, Josh Lewin. Thank you very much. Nice to have Josh with us here in the postseason on Fox. And what a game tonight in San Francisco. The best laid plans of Bobby Valentine. You couldn't ask for a better situation. 1 on, granted nobody out, but 3 straight right-handed batters coming up, or so it appeared until Snow came up as a pinch hitter. And Benitez serves up the game-tying 3-run homer. Ventura down a strike, but these are the kinds of games the New York Mets, with their grit and determination over the last 2 seasons, have still found a way to win.
Well, both these ball clubs have that similar trait, finding ways to win, having a different hero every night. You know, the addition of J.T. Snow into this ball game obviously played an immediate dividend with that 3-run home run, but also the Giants now have their best defensive team on the field.
And that was the best defensive team in the National League this season. Ventura, fly ball down the left field line. Bonds a long run. He's got it in foul ground.
You talk about home field advantage. Barry Bonds playing here in his home ballpark, coming after this ball, takes a quick peek, ran around the bullpen mound to make that catch just in front of that mound up onto the tarp. That's why he's got a mantle full of Gold Gloves at home. So he actually veered to his left and then back to his right to avoid that bullpen mound down the left field line.
Darrell Hamilton, the former Giant, comes on to pinch hit. Rodriguez delivers. It's fouled out of play. Our game produced by Jeff Gallen, directed by Jim Lynch, and we certainly send our best wishes to Alma Lynch watching tonight, and we certainly hope you're doing well. We're crazy about Alma Lynch, and get well soon. 0-1 the count on Darrell Hamilton. Lined into right center field. It'll fall for a base hit. Murray over to cut it off, but Hamilton making a turn. He's coming to second, and he's there with a 2-out double.
Giants were shading Hamilton to hit the ball to the opposite field. You mentioned that Rodriguez blew him away in the ball game last night with fastballs. This time he gets a pitch up, finds a gap in right center. Calvin Murray closed ground quickly, but Hamilton with too much speed, no chance to get him at second base.
We talked about the Mets. Don't forget, this team won 94 games during the regular season. They've suffered their fair share of tough moments. But here they are with a go-ahead run in scoring position and 2 away in the 10th inning. And now Estelea to visit Rodriguez. And Dave Righetti's going to join in as well. Those are the numbers we mentioned a moment ago. The 2 clubs in extra inning games this season.
Now, this is the first time that the Giants have had a runner at second base with Rodriguez on the mound, and usually when you see the catcher go out to the mound in this situation, it's just to reconfirm what the signs are going to be with that runner out there at second base. You cannot afford a wild pitch pass ball in this situation. Of course, with Hamilton at second base, the Mets now have a runner in scoring position. They're 1 for 6 in these situations in the ball game tonight. Payton, the hitter at the plate, 0 for 2 in these particular situations.
Four game in the 10th. Hamilton leads at second base with 2 away. And the first pitch to Jay Payton. Lined into center field, a base hit. Hamilton being waved around. He will score. two-out single by Payton. And just like that, the Mets have recaptured the lead. It's 5-4. How about the New York Mets rookies in this game tonight? Perez, 3 hits, 2 batted in. And now the rookie Payton with a clutch RBI single.
Well, the Giants were playing him to hit the ball to the opposite field, but Payton hits a line drive right back up the middle of the diamond. Calvin Murray had to move to his left to make the play. Now Leiter's still looking on. Disconsolate a moment ago, excited right now. Dusty Baker, another guy not afraid to show his emotions. His are not quite as happy as Al Leiter's at this point.
Now Mike Bordick, he looks at a strike. Rodriguez struck him out. The first batter he faced when he came on in the ninth. It's been a rough night for the Giant right-hander, Felix Rodriguez.
You don't need a helmet.
1-1 to Bordick. Darrell Hamilton, a 2-out pinch hit double to right center, and scores on the 2-out single to center by Payton. One and two.
Well, Rodriguez is basically a one-pitch pitcher, and you're seeing the Mets take advantage of that. He's got an, at times, overpowering fastball, as we mentioned, in the high 90s. No breaking ball really to speak of. He throws a little wrinkle of a slider. Occasionally he'll throw a two-seam fastball, but everything is hard, hard, hard. Mets are going to the plate looking for something hard.
Swing and a miss, and that'll end the inning. But the Mets have taken the lead on a single by Payton. We're back after this word from your local Fox station. Al Leiter spectacular for 8+ innings tonight, allowed 5 hits. He took the ball into the bottom of the 9th inning, allowed a leadoff double to Barry Bonds, was taken down for Armando Benitez, who allowed an infield single to Jeff Kent. 1 out later, a game-tying pinch-hit 3-run home run off the bat of J.T. Snow. But the Mets come right back against Felix Rodriguez and get a 2-out double by Hamilton. He scores on a single by Payton, and the Mets have a 5-4 lead. The Giants bat in the bottom of the 10th. Hamilton remains in a game in left field. And Armando Rios will pinch it for Felix Rodriguez. In there, a strike.
See the career pinch hit numbers for Armando Rios. He was 4 for 23 this season with 1 home run and 7 RBIs off the bench for Dusty Baker.
There's a lot of thunder in this guy's bat. And that one taken outside and high. Not the biggest guy in the world, but very strong.
Good fastball hitter is Armando Rios. He's taken balls out of here to straightaway center field this season. 10 home runs, 50 RBIs in only 233 at-bats.
Swing and a miss. Benitez throwing that fastball right by him, and it's 1-2. Just in case Benitez runs into any trouble. Boy, not a bad safety valve. The guy with the second most saves in Major League history loosens in the bullpen. John Franco. Still 1-2.
And should Franco enter this ballgame, what a contrast in pitching styles. Benitez, a right-handed flamethrower regularly in the high 90s. Franco, a left-handed screwball pitcher. And I don't mean he's a screwball. That's his best pitch.
Oh, he is a screwball. I've known him for a long time. 1-2 on Armando Rios. Just off the outside corner, another fastball at 97 from Benitez. Three balls and 2 strikes. Roller coaster ride gamut of emotions that have taken place over the last 2 innings here in San Francisco. Both managers, the players, and better than 41,000 in this ballpark. Lined into right field, a base hit. Perez over to cut it off, and Rios will stop, representing the tying run with a leadoff single.
Dusty Baker had initially sent Marvin Bernard up to lead off this bottom half of the 10th inning. He called him back in favor of Armando Rios, and now we use Bernard to pinch hit for Calvin Murray. Bernard, a much more accomplished bunter than Armando Rios. Had he done it the other way around and Bernard reached base, Rios is not a good bunter at all.
Well, here comes Dave Wallace, and we'll see if Bobby Valentine is going to bring on John Franco. And the answer is yes. Franco, second only to Lee Smith on the all-time saves list, comes on in the 10th. Top half of the 9th inning. 1 on, 2 out. Edgardo Alfonso against Felix Rodriguez, his 4th career postseason home run. It gave the Mets a 4-1 lead. J.T. Snow with 2 on against Armando Benitez, his 1st career postseason home run. But then Peyton with 2 outs and a runner at second put the Mets in front 5-4 in the 10th. The Giants have Armando Rios aboard in the bottom of the 10th with nobody out, and now on the pitch, the native New Yorker, left-hander John Franco.
And on that pickoff attempt at first base, Marvin Bernard's hands started to slide up the barrel of that bat, appearing to be bunting in this situation as you get a look at the numbers on Franco this season.
Bernard bunts, and Franco will play to first. So Bernard gets the job done, and that's why they flip-flopped, as you mentioned a moment ago. Dusty Baker having Rios lead off the inning. So if he reached Bernard, could advance him with a bunt, and that he does.
Well, now it's up to the rest of the Giants order to try to figure out John Franco. Not a lot of secrets with John Franco in his career. He very rarely throws strikes. Hitters overly aggressive against him. He uses that screwball-like changeup, a fastball leading him off the outside corner of the plate. Much like we talked about the Mets attacking Sean Estes and being very patient at the plate, the Giants need to do the same thing against John Franco.
Bill Miller settles in. The tying run at second base, 1 away here in the 10th inning. Outside, ball 1. Franco, a graduate of Lafayette High School in Brooklyn. If that high school sounds familiar, a guy named Koufax came out of there. 1-0, the count on Bill Miller. On the ground is short. The runner coming to third, and Borden throws out Armando Rios. Boy, you have to wonder what in the world Armando Rios is thinking about there. Representing the tying run with Bonds in the on-deck circle, and he breaks for third, a huge mistake.
This is one of the cardinal sins in baseball. As a runner at second, you're taught that on a ball hit to your left, you can safely advance to third base. On a ball hit to your right, you have to hold your ground. Rios with just a terrible base running blunder right here for the Giants. Ball clearly hit to his right. You've got to know where the defender is playing behind you. That ball hit directly at Mike Bordick. Poor, poor choice by Armando Rios.
Now Barry Bonds with a tying run at first base. And Franco misses inside for ball 1. Barry Bonds tonight, 1 of 4, had a double and scored on the home run by Snow an inning ago. Barry Bonds, a 3-time most valuable player, a 9-time All-Star, the player of the decade in the 1990s. And he takes outside and low, 2 balls and no strikes. Bonds has never homered in his career in 33 at-bats against John Franco. He tried to right there.
Well, that tells you how familiar these two guys are with each other. John Franco, a closer, comes in to usually work 3 outs, the last 3 outs of the ball game. Blows a high fastball by Bonds here. 33 career at-bats against John Franco. That tells you these two guys have seen a lot of each other.
Bonds wants timeout. One of only 8 players in the history of the game to win the Most Valuable Player award 3 times. He might get a 4th this season. He has struggled in his career in the postseason. And he bats in the 10th inning. The Giants down to their final out. And it's outside, 3-1. Barry Bonds has only hit 1 home run in the postseason. That was Game 6 of the '92 National League Championship Series against Tom Glavine. Strike 2. Bonds didn't like the call.
Well, he may not have liked it, but it looked like a pretty good pitch from John Franco. He was probably surprised to see a fastball over the plate.
The runner gets started. Miller at first base with 2 away on his 3-2 pitch. Franco to Bonds. And it's fouled out of play. Well, you're talking about 2 guys who have been at the top of their game, each for better than 14 years in the major leagues. For Franco, 2nd all-time on the save list, his 17th season. For Bonds, one of the greatest players to ever put on a uniform in this his 14th season. Again a 3-2. And it's strike 3 called, and the Mets have won it in a thriller in San Francisco. 5-4 the final in 10 innings, and they go back to New York, having even this series in a game apiece. What a gutsy effort tonight by the Mets.
Well, a gutsy effort by both teams, but especially by the Mets. Barry Bonds unhappy with the 3-1 pitch, a fastball down the middle. He's even less happy with this one. Breaking ball that never really took the break, appeared to stay off of that inside corner, but Gary Cederstrom, the home plate umpire, rings up Bonds to end this incredibly exciting game.
John Franco the save. Armando Benitez gets the win. And the loss goes to Felix Rodriguez. And what a night for the youngsters. The first career postseason for 2 rookies. Timo Perez with 3 hits, knocked in 2, scored a run. And Jay Payton, the game-winning single, driving in Darrell Hamilton in the 10th.
Oh, we said it earlier in the ball game, Tom, just a couple of innings ago. Both of these teams have the ultimate confidence that they can come back from almost any deficit to win a ball game. Tonight, a perfect example. The Giants bouncing back off the mat to tie the ball game. The Mets coming right back to take a lead.
This series tied at 1 game apiece. They'll go to Shea Stadium for Game 3 on Saturday. There's a possibility we could have that game for you right here on Fox, depending on what happens tomorrow in Game 3 between the White Sox and the Seattle Mariners. 50-year-old Bobby Valentine celebrates one of the wildest games in Division Series history. Let's go downstairs to Josh Lewin.
All right, guys, thank you very much. Al Leiter, you mentioned grit. Well, there were a lot of predictions of doom back in New York. Now you guys go home with home field advantage.
Boy, oh boy, I'm not even thinking about that right now, but what a game. And kind of feel for Armando. He's been there all year, and he feels bad about it, but that's the game. And JT hit a good pitch, and just happy right now. Happy we're going back tied.
Last 40 minutes, some highs and some lows there, huh?
It really was. I mean, it doesn't seem like we do it easy, but we won, so hopefully that's a good momentum for Game 3.
Bobby Valentine said before the game, Al, that you had the combination of experience and stuff that he really needed on the mound tonight. Which was it that did it for you tonight, the experience or the stuff?
I think my slider was working well on those righties. It seemed like they didn't really adjust right away. I sensed they started adjusting a little bit. I had to start throwing curveballs. But I'll tell you what, this place with the music and how loud it was, I could see why they won a lot of games here.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, guys, back to you.
Josh, thank you very much. Al Leiter, thank you very much. So now Leiter and the Mets go back to Shea Stadium, where they have, along with the Giants, the best home field record in Major League Baseball. Game 3 is Saturday. What a game tonight in San Francisco. For Bob Brindley and our entire crew, I'm Tom Brenneman saying thanks so much for being with us. Keith Olbermann and Steve Lyons are standing by in Los Angeles. They go to Game 3, and this series looks like a dandy.
Second, bases are Chuck. Sean Estes facing Timo Perez. And Perez, 3 RBI during the regular season, comes up with 2 here, filling in nicely for the injured Derek Bell. 2-0 Mets. Bottom third, 2-1 Mets. Sean Estes, the pitcher, on first. Leiter facing Bill Miller. And Miller, that's in the hole. Mike Bordick's got it, going to try to get the force. And our man Estes is safe, but then he comes off the bag because he's hurt, so now he's out. We're going to look at this again. This is your starting pitcher, going to be gone after 3 innings. He doesn't slide, but he doesn't go in standing very gracefully either. Dusty Baker is not pleased. Estes, a lot of pain. Left ankle, x-rays negative. Baker forced to go to the bullpen early, though. Calls on Kirk Reeder to come on in. Bottom 4, 2-1 Mets. Here's Dusty. What to do? We said. Kirk Reeder. There he is. Get in the game, kid. Bottom 4, 2-1 Mets. Leiter facing Ellis Burks with 1 out. And Burks, he missed. Nasty cutter. Next batter, Ramon E. Martinez. And Leiter whiffs him as well. Let's jump all the way ahead to bottom of the 8th. It's still a 2-1 game. Leiter facing Bill Miller. His 120th pitch right there. But how about Mike Bordick? Take it himself to turn 2. 6-3 double play. Go top 9. Still 2-1. 1 on, 2 out. Felix Rodriguez against Edgardo Alfonso. And could we get some insurance runs from Fonzie, please? 4-1 after that one lands in the seats. Bobby V thinking maybe I'm out of this thing. Check out Leiter. He's thinking now he's going to sleep in his uniform. He likes what Fonzie's done for him. Bottom 9, though. 4-1 Mets, 2 on, 1 out. The pinch hitter, J.T. Snow, has never hit a pinch hit home run in his career until now, and now is a pretty good time. Previously against Benitez, he was 2 for 2. He had struck out twice. The game is tied at 4, and everybody is pleased except for perhaps Benitez. We checked the replay. Benitez now 22 postseason innings. He's given up 7 home runs, more than any other reliever. And look at that. Yeah, Snow's watched Carlton Fisk. We go to extras. Top 10, runner on second, Felix Rodriguez against Jay Payton, who's hitting .246 with runners in scoring position and .222 in extra innings. But he comes through. Darrell Hamilton will score, and the Mets go back on top 5-4. Leiter not going to get a decision, but at least maybe a nice plane ride home. Bottom 10, John Franco facing Miller. Runner on second, 1 out. And how about this? Armando Rios. The lead run cut down at third. Not good. Next batter, Barry Bonds, and that is for Mike Hampton. Called strike 3, and the Mets win it by a count of 5-4. New York in CPR style improves to 1-5 at Pac Bell and evens the series at 1-1. Leiter still winless as a postseason starter, but 2 runs and 5 hits in 8 innings is solid. Remarkably here, Benitez is credited with the win. Those 7 homers allowed, 2 more than any other reliever.